Okay, so it's the end of May and there's a lot of dandelions, flowers you can see, and I've let the lawn go a bit here so that the bees can do what they need to do. Very, very important part of the health of our ecosystem depends on bees. So today, let's paint a bee. This video was created on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, the Tsuut'ina, and the Yarhi Nakota Nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. Okay, here are a few things that are going to come in handy for doing your watercolor today. I've got a piece of watercolor paper. I've got it taped down with painter's tape. And also I've got some clean fresh water in a big container so that there's more water. You'll be needing a big watercolor brush to hold more paint and water, and a fine one. I like to use these charcoal pencils, but if those aren't available to you, say you're at your school or you're a teacher, and these work just as well, a charcoal stick. You'll get nice big bold black lines with that, so that's what we want. And also I like to, with a kneaded eraser, use a kneaded eraser. I like to make it in the shape of what we're doing. Today we are doing a western honeybee, so I spent a little time. This always helps when you're painting something and drawing something. Sculpt it also and it'll turn out better. The other thing is if you need to mop up any spills, we've got some Kleenex handy always, or tissue. Oh yeah, one more thing. The paints you can get at any dollar store. We've used this for now about 20 paintings and it was only $10, $11. That's all you need. So let's get started and let's paint this, this honeybee. Okay, so recently in my backyard there was these western honeybees, and I was able to get some video and this picture on my phone that we're going to be working from today. So I think that the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to come up with a few shapes that I can see. I would start a little bit higher up in your paper here. We can see that there's the bee's head is kind of shaped a little bit like a teardrop on an angle there. And then this part of the bee's body here is called, it was the kindergarten kids at Percy Pegler told me this was the thorax. Down here, kind of hugging the flower here, is going to be the abdomen. Like that. Okay, so we've got another kind of teardrop shape here, and then we've got a wing coming out here, kind of like a triangle shape, I guess, and it comes just above the bee's back there. Here's a good shape. Here is where this bee is gathering the honey. This is called a pollen sac. And then we've got the bee's leg coming in here. And we've got top of a leg, kind of a oval shape there. I can see a leg coming in here. And we've got Western honeybee is a pretty slender bee. There's hundreds of kinds of bees in Alberta here, and the Western honeybee almost looks like the male worker bees almost look like wasps or hornets because they're kind of slender. They're not like the bumblebee. And as I said, these were in close by in my neighbor's yard the other day, and I got some good close-ups of them at work. And so we've got this flower shape kind of coming in here. Put this flower coming off at an angle here underneath the bee's abdomen. Get all these shapes in here. And so I was in Airdrie recently, and I did a workshop for kids painting the bee, and they did a terrific job with it. And I wasn't able to teach all the kids that could attend, and that's why I made this video, is for them, because I think they kind of missed out. And so as you can see, they did some phenomenal bee paintings, and I don't think anybody was older than kind of 12 that were in the workshop. So as you can see, they did a great job. And also at the Airdrie Public Library where it was, my wife and I had our first art show together. We met 40 years ago at the art college, and we've never, although we've both done lots of art almost every day it seems, we haven't had an actual exhibition together, so that was pretty cool. Saw lots of old friends came out, and that was just great. Now you can create art, and if you're like me, you can do it all your life. I've been doing this for 40 years, so is my wife, and we both give each other time to draw. It doesn't really matter what you do with your drawing, whether you sell it or you do this or that. I think the real fun is drawing, just like I'm doing right now. Never gets old, never gets boring. It's always fun, always challenging. So this is something you can do after a while. Just like me right here, you won't even think about what you're doing. You'll just do it. You'll enjoy it. That's the main thing. Look at the bee's wing up here. It looks like little segments of stained glass. If you've ever seen stained glass in a church or whatever, it's pretty cool the way the light is coming through there. So we're gonna make a little map there for the wings. Okay, we've got some what we call shading in here. And mentioned at the beginning, if you're in a school or you're a teacher watching this video, you might not have the exact same supplies as me. You don't need them really. Sometimes in the schools they have a lot of this charcoal that's in a stick form. It does essentially the same thing as the charcoal pencil. I just find the pencil gives me a little bit more control. Okay, we're getting close to being able to paint here. And you know what, we've got enough of a map now that I would say that we can start painting. And so let's begin with a bigger brush, and I may be going to work on the background a little bit. I'm going to get a good background going in there, and it's going to be green, just like the photo. And I'm going to put that green all around the bee. And you know what, we're going to go, because the wings are transparent, we're going to go right over the wings with that. Why not? And we're also going to mix some yellow in here too, because there's a lot of yellow going on in there. You can make some kind of interesting patterns up here. I'm going to go all around these leaves. Yeah, today I'm starting with the background first. Just like that. And just for fun, I'm going to load up with as much yellow as I can get out of here. This paint palette, it's lasted about 12 paintings or something like that. I can't remember what I said at the beginning, but it's lasted quite a long time. And but you can always use a watercolor tube if you're running low on a color in your tray, and you've got some of these at your school. You can always put a little bit more yellow in there, right? That's what I'm going to do, and that will actually turn hard, and it'll look like it was supposed to be there, you know, by the time you're done. So I'm going to just, it's a little bit more color than I wanted to use, but, and you know what, we can go back in this after, and we can draw on it with the charcoal again. So no big deal if the paint spreads or whatever. It might give it a kind of cool effect actually. Okay. Now that pollen, where the pollen is going, is right here, that pollen sac. You can make that really a light kind of yellow. And you know, we don't worry too much about the charcoal kind of bleeding into the with the other colors. Charcoal is a real natural thing to mix with, real natural technique to mix with watercolor. Okay, so I got a kind of a pink, pinky purple going on here. So I've got a pink and a purple here. I'll kind of mix them together, see what happens with that. Okay, that's kind of interesting. You know, it's we'll kind of, okay, even though that yellow went on there right here, I don't care. This is, I don't know how many times I've said it in my videos, this is your artistic license. Nobody's gonna put you in jail for not painting it exactly like it's supposed to be. There is no art police that I know of. And you do the colors the way that you would like and have some fun with it. Get some pink in there. Okay, it's all bleeding together in a kind of interesting way, the colors, and we're not going to be too precious about it. We're just going to go a little wild here. And you know how I know you can do this is because when I was working at a local elementary school that I walk to, and I do art lessons there. So I'm a substitute teacher now because I taught for 20 years or whatever. And I come in and do art with kids at where I can walk to, the schools around here. So Big Rock School and Percy Pegler, and sometimes I'll go to the high school because I taught high school art too. But at Percy Pegler, I taught the kids this lesson, the kindergarten class. So look what the kindergartens did.
You're adding a tree.
Oh, man. You know what? The grade 5, 6s, they're not going to be able to do this well, you guys. There's no way.
They're not in the park.
No way.
Oh, Ben. You really got the parts of the bee there, Ben.
Oh, man. That is amazing. I don't like it. I love it.
What? Oh, so you what? I was 4, but I turned 5.
And no, it's not good. It's great.
So, are you Fallon's neighbor? Yes. Look at these. You guys are out.
Think about how you feel right now when you're painting. You should feel really good. You should feel really happy. Besides when I'm catching a fish, when I get a fish into the boat, I'd say that drawing and painting makes me just as happy. That's when I'm happiest, is when I'm doing that. I bet you. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna come back to it. Okay, I'm just gonna work a little bit more with this bigger brush. I'm gonna put some black, and actually black and yellow make a very interesting sort of green. I'm just gonna let it go here and there. Let it mix with the water a little bit, just like the photo. Okay, now I'm going to use the finer brush, smaller brush. I'm going to go in and I'm going to get a whole bunch of black. Go right to the black here. And I'm going to, everywhere where I see it's quite dark, I'm just going to put some black in there. And his eye is absolutely black, and it's got, whenever you want to add life to anything that has an eye, you leave a little bit of a white dot there, so that'll give it life. Whenever I'm making crafts, if the craft I don't think is that great, I'll just put some of those googly eyes on it, and it'll give it some life, some character. Eyes are always very interesting. Okay. So Okay, so now would be a real great time to do a little bit of drawing back into the bee on top of the painting with the charcoal pencil. So another use for the Kleenex is I like to put it under my hand, and I like to work from left to right when I'm doing this part of the drawing. You know, probably the greatest drawing I ever saw in my life was at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, and it was done by an artist named Michelangelo, one of the greatest artists of all time. And of course he worked in Italy a long time ago, and I love this drawing. It's called a study, which means he's really just trying to it's kind of like a rough copy for a good painting that he's going to draw on the Sistine Chapel, which hopefully you'll learn about in school. It was quite an undertaking. I've been there too, but I really like this drawing. It's only about as big as the drawing I'm doing right here, right now, of the bee. But so I did a study of the bees in the backyard. So this is mine, and I did it in kind of the style of Michelangelo because I admire him above all for drawing, and his sculptures were just unbelievable. I think, again, the greatest sculpture I've ever seen in my life would be his statue of David, which you would think is going to come to life. It's just huge, and if you're ever in Italy, in Florence, you need to see that. I could only dream that I could draw and sculpt like him. Anyway, we're going to get these flower petals kind of, I'm going to draw those wherever I see a kind of a line, or wherever it's really dark. Now, whenever I go into the schools, you just saw I was in kindergarten, I try and learn at least 5 facts about whatever it is we're going to be drawing. So, I mean, after all, it is school. We do need to learn other things too, and how it relates, you know, how the honeybee relates to science, or maybe social studies or whatnot. And so one of the facts I learned about the honeybee, which is quite amazing, I did not know this, is that it takes 12 bees a lifetime of work to create 1 teaspoon of honey. So next time you're eating honey, you think about how hard these bees have to work. They sacrifice their lives and their life so that we can put some honey in our tea here. Sure of your facts. Okay, for this part we're not going to be afraid of using white watercolor. And so just like when we were doing the charcoal drawing, and I put the tissue underneath my hand here to prevent kind of smudging, I'm just gonna, everywhere where I see that it's white, I'm just gonna go ahead and put in some white. Now, when I was in Airdrie, my friends Blake and Maureen Schultz had a couple of these bee houses to help the bees get a start in their backyard in the spring. And you can make these, or you can purchase them quite reasonably, and gives the bees a start. And so that would be a good idea. That would be something that I would recommend for you. And like I said, I'm just going to go in here and go over it one more time with the charcoal pencil, all the little details that I see. And then we're going to put in some white highlights, and that'll be it. Should look pretty good. July 30th, so of 2024, and we have just painted a western honeybee. There we go. Hope you had fun today. I know I did. And it's always fun, relaxing to draw nature.